Meeting of the Town and Village Commission, it's December 12th, 4 p.m. Our next business meeting will be on Tuesday, December 26th, really?
We will talk about this.
Okay.
Maybe.
At 12 p.m. and next month's hearing is Tuesday, January 9th at 4 p.m. Can I swear in staff? Raise your right hands, swear to tell the whole truth to the best of your ability.
Of course, I do.
Oh, and state your name.
That's Morgan Graff.
Perfect, thank you. Introduction of commissioners present, start.
Ben Goodman.
Shannon Fergus.
Paige Kaplinski. Carla Tribe.
Thank you. We do have a public forum. City Attorney Joshua Monroe will be administering a oath of office and pledge of ethical conduct. I don't see him here.
I do not either. Can give it, or I guess we can conduct the hearing and maybe he'll show up later, but if that is not, then just pass it on to maybe next month.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, approval of staff approvals. They start on page 3. I'll go ahead and list off the addresses. Let us know if you need to abstain from any. 4749 is Russell Street. 255 East 3rd. 964, 966 North 4th. 60 East 4th. 779 Kerr. 750 North High. 682 North High. And that's it. Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Wonderful. Okay, so looks like we don't have any staff recommended.
And Commissioner Burgess, before we continue on to applications, we do need to approve the minutes. For
Oh, right. Right. Approval of minutes from last meeting, November 14th. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, we do not have any staff recs in this.
Okay.
Applications.
All right, so we'll start with continued applications. Application number 1 is IV 2311013, 103 East Fifth Ave.
One here.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And can you raise your right hand? Do you swear to state your name?
Shelley Level.
Do you swear to tell the truth to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Stop.
Sorry, way too close. Apologies about that. Proposed work description, install a 9-foot by 3-foot awning above business front door along 5th Avenue. Awning to be installed with the storefront framing. Awning valence to say Platinum on 5th, the salon. Staff analysis, as stated at November's hearing, the neighboring awning was approved in 2018, 181122, which extends the length of the storefront opening, but there is an indication that the awning was approved to have open sides. Following is taken from the unapproved November 11th, 2023, County Village Commission meeting minutes. Commissioner comments, commissioners were in support of HBO staff's recommendation to have open ends on the awning per short run design guidelines, awnings and canopies, page 3.9. Commissioners say that it would be more appropriate to have enclosed sides if the awnings span the entire storefront, as seen with the neighboring awning. But if it were to be the size that it is, open sides would be more appropriate. At the December business meeting, commissioners asked the applicant to provide if it would be possible to open the sides of the awning. Staff and board commissioners said the applicant's response was provided past the deadline and could not be included for the business meeting materials. The applicant submitted a letter from the building owner manager with their support of the proposed awning, including an email from Capital City Awning stating the sides were covered with fabric to match the existing awning on the building, as well as to add protection from the elements. According to Capital Cities, their awnings are intended to have covered sides and they are not intended to be altered, as it would weaken the fabric not being secured around the frame. Staff recommends approval of application IV 2311-014 as submitted with any all clarifications to be submitted to HBO staff for review and approval prior to issuance of certificate due to the extenuating circumstance of an awning with closed ends being installed on the building. Staff recommended conditions, or if there aren't any, apologies, basis of staff correct would be short list design guidelines, awnings and canopies, page 3.9 and 3.9. or through 3.1.
Just quickly for the record, I'm just noting that Commissioner, Lucas Smith is not present. Anyone have anything burning? Otherwise, I'll start with that.
Uh, hi. Ms. Lovell, do you represent the bar or the salons or the awning company or what? I was never clear before.
I'm the salon owner
Salon.
of Platinum, yeah, and the bar group is the building that we lease from.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that these letters came in. I'm not sure that they're that helpful for me. For example, I mean, we know that having no sides on awnings certainly provides cover as well. We've seen all over the community, and certainly in terms of continuity, I just was hoping that that Bor or somebody else would step in and suggest that they could go the whole width. So if you're looking to save money by having a smaller footprint, I just thought that having the no-sided version was a good compromise, so we could allow us to maintain continuity as we go forward in our approval. So I am undecided at this moment. I'm just kind of curious what other people are thinking. So that's what I have to say.
I guess we didn't hear any comments from you if you have regarding the,
Sorry.
that's fine, regarding the removal of the side panels.
So we've entertained this awning since August 2022. And as you guys probably understand, it's hard to be a business owner as it is. So we finally got the funds to be able to do this. The building had expressed from the beginning that they wanted it to stay uniform to the awning right next to us. And I understood some people here thought, well, then the uniformity would be across the entire storefront. But our storefront is 25 feet long, which is triple the size of the residence awning that sits above their building. And the reason that we picked that space was because we love all that natural light being a hair salon. So if we were to cover that to be uniformal to next door with the entire storefront, I just feel like it would take away the whole space of why we leased. We do like the way that it looks presented next to the awning, which is right next door to us. We just want it to stay uniformed. It's already paid for. It's sitting. It's been waiting to be installed for over a month now. So we don't want to shell out the extra cost to alter it. We would like to keep it as is for all of those reasons.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think generally we would require the open ends, that's in the guidelines. The things that's tricky here is that the building having the already made awnings with the closed edges and that being their standard. So I would be comfortable approving as it is.
I'm sitting here looking at awning examples of open and closed ends and have frankly, honestly, I'm relatively new to this commission, having a hard time understanding why we require open-ended awnings. I think your awning is really nice. So maybe that's something that someone else can address. So I don't know, I know it's not a good idea for us to set a precedent where we're allowing other people to do things that we don't feel is right. But I guess I'd like to hear somebody else say where they've heard that they feel that, they've always strongly agreed with the open-ended awnings. And I don't know if it's a historical kind of aspect that's the reason that we do it. So I would like to hear more about that. I don't think
Speak
that,
on,
sorry.
I was gonna say I can speak on that.
Okay, thank you.
From what I've been told, the open-ended or the closed side is more of a suburban style awning, that's why I want to keep the open ends. Also to, I'm sorry. not to allow for hidden lights underneath the awning with having open ends. That you won't be able to, or you'll be able to see if there's lighting underneath the awnings. This is what I've been told for that purpose, if that helps.
Yeah. It does. I mean, I am comfortable approving this as long as I'm not opening a can of worms for the commission. It's a hard one.
It is a hard one. It is a very hard one.
I want to comment.
I think you'd get more natural light if you had open ends.
Yeah,
So, and I am not one who likes to abide by rules. I do everything I can not to. But I would say that if that is a guideline, then it should be open-ended.
So I'll comment, I think that I'm okay with this application, with approving it as is, mainly for two reasons. One, because we have it approved, or we have a closed end on another part of the building. And two, we're on 4th Street. So the short north design guidelines are, we use them on 4th Street, but we're not always beholden, we sometimes make some changes. So I think that that is one thing, those are two things we can kind of, especially the style of the building, already having an awning like this is something that we can point to give a reason why in this instance, we would not require the open sides. So I think I'm in favor.
I have a question to staff. So we established that the other awnings were approved
Yes, the other awning on
as closed-end awnings.
we could not confirm that from the drawings. We do have the previous materials in the packet, but we could not confirm this time. We did. Sorry. Yeah, we could not confirm that it did not stay open-ended or closed.
Well, I agree with you that we're kind of creating a new precedent, but I agree with your rationale, Commissioner Fergus. So I'm just inclined, feel like we've fleshed everything out, but it's just good to.
Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Motion to approve IV 23-11-013 from 103 East 5th Avenue. With no conditions.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
thank you guys, I appreciate it.
All right, we're on to application number 2, 750 North High Street.
Evening all.
Can you raise your right hand, state your name for the record,
My name is Jennifer Bender.
and you swear to tell the whole truth to the best of your ability?
I do.
Great. Stop.
Proposed work description, install one new set of 1 foot 9 inch by 12 foot 10 inch wall sign to Recommon bar on west elevation, sign to be 3 inch deep aluminum channels with the inside and outside being painted red. Letters to be illuminated with clear red neon, sign to be installed on aluminum raceway that will be painted to match existing brick, raceway to be installed via mortar joints. Staff analysis, the following is taken from the approved November 11th, 2023 Tiny Village Commission meeting minutes. Would the commission like me to read those minutes for review to refresh the mind on the application, or are we good?
From the meeting, from the hearing, you mean?
Yeah, for the previous hearing.
I might benefit Commissioner Fergus.
I was at the business meeting, so we,
You know that.
yes.
I think that's up to this meeting as well for this one.
Okay. Then,
Okay, just wanted to double check. At the December business meeting, commissioners stated the following: revised signage design is a big improvement. Staff recommends to approve application IV 23-11-016 as submitted with any all clarifications to be submitted to HBO staff review and approval prior to issuance of certificate. Basis of staff rec is short month design guidelines, pages 3.37 to 3.41, as well as 31-16-13 standard for site improvements, letter C.
Okay, do you have any comments?
No, we believe it's a big improvement too, and sacrificed the blade sign. Thinking that it wouldn't be appropriate to put it down lower where it would not be hidden, or it would be hidden by the awnings themselves, so we like it.
Commissioner Nicholson, can we start?
I think it's fine. I'm in favor.
Commissioner Trout?
I think it's a big improvement and appreciate you making the changes.
Thanks for working with us, and I'm in favor as well.
I think it's an improvement for sure. I still think that we need to be more creative, and I'm going to ask you and your staff to, as you come back to Short North kind of signage, that you think about things in more than just the sort of regular palette of, purple elements that we always see. I think there could have been a much more character in the blade sign at a lower pedestrian scale than this sign, which is kind of vehicular scale. But that said, you did respond to, by putting in, first of all, I'm understanding this is neon behind a clear acrylic in a fabricated letter cabinet, right? And those are things that we've talked about and approved before, so I think that.
Okay, I also believe it's appropriate. Someone want to make a motion?
Motion to approve IV 23-11-016, 750 North High Street, as submitted.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Did we get a second on that?
Oh, sorry. Second, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
It's, your test. So.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Have a nice night.
Thank you. Too. Okay, moving on to application 3, IV 23-12-008, 51 East 4th. Can you raise your right hand and state your name for the record?
Eric Cisco?
And do you swear to tell the whole truth to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Thank you.
Proposed work description for 51 East 4th Avenue. Install 29 roof-mounted solar panels on west, east, and south elevations of main roof. First submitted roof plan. Utilities will be located on the southwest corner of home. Solar panels to be sill fab prime low profile. Staff analysis: Columbus goal is 100% renewable energy by 2022 and to be carbon neutral by 2050. Clean energy can include sources such as wind, hydro, and solar. Use of renewable energy such as solar collectors is encouraged and should be designed, sized, and located to minimize any effect on the character of the historic building. While the Italian district guidelines do not currently address solar energy specifically, reviews based on recommendations of the National Park Service. Preferred locations for solar collectors include site raised in a rear or side yard, on the roof of an addition or secondary structure, or on the rear portions of the roof on the primary structure. Locating collectors on the front portion of the roof oriented to the side yard is acceptable when preferred locations are not feasible. Minimize visual impacts by setting collectors back from the facade of the building. Install a collector in such a way that it can be removed and the original character easily restored. Mount collectors flush below the ridgeline on a sloping roof. Attach solar collectors to a historic roof in a minimally invasive and reversible manner. Minimize visual impacts by setting collectors back from the eave. Avoid obscuring significant features or adversely affecting the overall character of the property. Exposed hardware frames and piping should have a matte finish. and be consistent with the color scheme of the structure. Collectors located on a primary street facing roof slope is not appropriate. Collectors located in a front yard is not appropriate. At the December business meeting, commissioners stated the following. Commissioners recommended to push back the solar panels proposed at the northwest corner. They recommended maybe utilizing a garage to install a few solar panels. They requested information on why they cannot utilize, or why can't the applicant utilize installing panels to the garage. Commission does support solar panels, but they do need to keep consistency with the review of solar panel applications. They request information on how much electricity each panel will hold and how many solar panels are needed for the size of home, and if some can be removed. Commission recently approved solar panels at 1099 Summit Street in February 2022. That is a HIP group as well. It was approved with the following condition. Due to the combination of the narrowness of the space between houses, roof height, one-way street, and box gutters and cornice that prevent visibility of the solar panels, as well as on the non-historic asphalt shingles, the commission was okay with the solar panel location for this particular building. Applicant previously responded stating that they cannot locate the solar panels on the secondary structure due to the secondary structure only having 120 VAC when the panels need 240 VAC. Additionally, the homeowner does not want to trench the power back to the main house from the secondary structure. Applicant has also submitted a letter in response to the business meeting feedback, including the materials. Staff note the house currently has asphalt shingles installed and the new solar panels would not be damaging the historic material. Staff does not support the solar panels that are located on the northwest corner of the main roof since it appears that they would be visible from the right of way. Staff recommends commissioners continue application IV 2312-008 to allow applicant time to look into installing solar panels on the garage roof and moving the solar panels back on the north portion of the main roof. Basis of staff recommendation is the Italian Village District Guidelines Skylights, page 39, CC 311611, standards for alt roof.
That's perfect. Do you have any comments?
We understand that, possibly some portion of panels on the northwest corner are recommended to get relocated to the garage. And we explained that that's cost prohibitive for the homeowner due to the additional expenses that we have to get those solar panels on the detached garage back to the house. And that's going to require a trench due to the electrical power that's currently in the garage right now. I know the roof pitch is a lot lower than normal. I understand with a steep roof pitch, the panels would be a lot visible from the side street. And looks like the house that's beside it doesn't go all the way out to the very front of that house. So, that creates a unique situation on this property as well, compared to a lot of other houses in the village. We responded with how much power each panel will produce, and I believe by removing each panel, it will reduce his annual offset by 2.5%. We provided some energy savings data, I think, in our response to the business meeting.
Before we get started, can you tell me in your response, you circled the area that we had recommended. How many panels does that make up?
I guess it depends on how you guys feel. I think it's either 3 or 4 panels, depending on whatever line we want to establish.
It's Eric.
Yes.
And Eric, what was your last name again?
Cisco
Cisco.
Yeah.
And you represent the
contractor.
contractor.
You want to get started?
Yeah, I actually have a couple of questions. If we go back to the schematic of the roof. What are these, first of all, I'm understanding the part of the front of the house is left off,
Yeah.
all right? I have a question of what these represent. These round elements,
The vent stacks.
they're vent stacks. And the total kilowatt rating of the system is as proposed here today?
Can we go to page 2, please? It's a 10.3 kW system.
10.3.
Yes, 10.3. And yeah, there is a little triangle roof at the very front of the house, hip style roof.
All right, I'll just get started. First of all, I would say generally speaking, a 10K kilowatt system is on the large side. You know, you commonly see 5 and 6. So I don't know if economics should be part of this discussion. I think this commission is about architectural review, and I am pro solar, and was very curious to see how this would be proposed and pan out. But I recall in that first application, I'm not really sure what the roof pitch was on that particular one, and I do recall the exposure was a little more limited because of this lot width and so forth. But I think it's relevant to know what the roof pitch is. Certainly, it affects my thinking. But that said, one of the things I was certain of the first time we went around this is that solar panels, the way they are presently being presented to the marketplace, are way more compatible to a gable roof than a hip roof. And and then so you've got that going against you, but also trying to work around these vent stacks has made this just kind of a cobbled you know, it doesn't sort of relate to the architecture at all. So it's just kind of patched up there and put up there the best way that you and your engineers have imagined. And I'm just going to say that I, at this point, am a pretty hard no on the proposal tonight. I could imagine seeing other versions that pull back and honor the peaks in certain ways. And maybe the owner, instead of dealing with having to trench and do something on the garage, might be willing to move a vent so that you could have kind of a sort of a whole saddle going across the peak, and then maybe some on the back pitch. And then that might be a way to feel like it's architecturally integrated. But the takeaway here is that yes to solar, yes, it's hard, and yes, there needs to be some compliance to architectural needs as well. And so just go back to the drawing board, you know, figure out some ways that, you know, meet this compromise that we need to all find.
Yeah, so I think a couple comments here is that I think the garage solution could potentially be a nice one. I understand that it has some cost implications there. And the one thing that I was wondering is from the kind of line drawing of the panels, I'd be curious if there is kind of what Commissioner Goodman was talking about, any way that we could utilize that back of the hip roof, or kind of rearrange in any way that we could take advantage of that top northwest corner. I will say, from my perspective, we don't have to like lose so many that they're lost from sight from that street corner that we're reviewing, but if it is at least back to that secondary pitch, at least then it's kind of lining up and giving some breathing room to the front of the historic building. So that's what really we're here to do, is preserve the historic buildings there, but obviously we want to still keep up with technologies of today. So I think that could be, it's not necessarily that you have to eliminate all the way back to that adjacent home, but maybe taking it back a bit to that secondary hip there. And then maybe there would even be a way to relocate a couple of those panels on that rear roof or something. So I think some adjustments could work out without having to go to the extreme of the placing on garage. And I will just say that although the roof isn't as ideal for solar panels, I think it does help you in the situation because your sloped roof is less severe, and therefore pedestrians aren't seeing that as much from the right of way. So that would be my request too, is just a little bit of attempting at reworking to see if we can't clear up a little space from that front of that northwest corner.
Hey, when you said secondary hip,
Yeah, if you go to the,
can you point to,
it's kind of chopped on this one, but can you go to the photo?
The aerial.
Yeah, even if it's just at the, yeah, down one, basically, yeah, right there.
there?
So it's not like, in my opinion, I don't know if we need to completely remove it back to that adjacent house, but at least that gives some breathing room to the front of the building to capture its historic features still.
And just for reference, I was referring the next point back, so I mean, just
Okay.
to create kind of an option B, because as to the discussion.
And I'm going to be a little bit more liberal than that. I know we're not talking about economics here, but you said that a certain amount, when they were removed, lessened their efficiency by 2.5% or something like that. I wasn't quite sure what you were saying.
Production.
Production.
Yeah, that's annual energy offset.
Okay, so what did that apply to? Reducing how much? One
Bas-
panel?
Yeah, per one panel. So if we were to remove 4 panels from the entire layout, they would lose 10% of annual energy offset.
And so I'm just looking at these, because when you look at the drawing versus this one over here. And so this is the number of panels.
Yeah, each rectangle.
Right? And so then if you go back to the roof plan, this isn't complete. To me, what bothers me about this is not moving it back to these greater distances. I am also very pro solar, but I don't like this relationship of the corner to that hip. And so I don't feel like we have to move back to here or back to here. I just think we need to pull one of those units back. And I don't even care so much about the back of the house. Maybe that's something we could discuss, but I definitely think on the front side that each of these, if they could have one unit, one solar unit removed to get it back from the hip, would help in, kind of not making it overpower the kind of historic nature of that house.
For clarification, you're saying on each set, pulling back, not just the visible.
Yeah, and I think it would have to be the upper ones as well, but definitely the ones on the two sides. I think it's the relationship of the roof hip joint that is bothering me, that they're so close to that. And, also just that also makes them so close to the front of the house. So, do you want me to clarify that? I
No.
can show you the drawing. Okay.
Commissioner Smith?
I agree with, everything that everybody said. I do think on page 3 with the line drawing, that if you were to take, and I'm not gonna do, tell you how to do this, because that would be wrong, but I do think you might find some efficiency if you were just to, if you were to remove the first 3 or 4 of those panels that everyone is concerned about and reorient them in place of the 3 that are running perpendicular. So you've got 3 running this way and all the rest are running this way. But it looks to me like you would have enough room, like you do on the other side, to get 3 or 4 panels in there if you were just to reorient them.
We went to the site to measure. We got on this roof to measure before we submitted our application because things were so tight. And we cannot get two panels portrait on the west roof. That's why they're configured the other way.
Was an exploration on the back of the hip roof and more back there?
It's very close. I'd have to go back and look at the measurements.
Well,
But yeah, we will try to utilize that south rear roof as much as possible to remove the northwest.
I think that would be great to see. And even just seeing the attempt and how it could work out would be helpful. But we should.
Do you make up any ground? It looks like the 3 panels that are on, I guess that's the south side. They look a little smaller than the rest of them. They're not as long. Maybe that's just a visual.
They're the same.
They are the same.
Well, to that end, I'm just kind of curious, is this the only size of PV out there, panel? And could there be other sizes that might help facilitate some of this, sort of tiling, fitting?
Let's see. Can we go back to page 2 real quick, just to refresh my memory? So it says Silfab 370. Okay, so we are already utilizing a smaller length panel due to the nature of this house. Typically, we use Silfab 400 and they're 75 inches long. These are 70 inches long.
I guess.
We could see if
only
there's any other
offering that
options.
There might be, in terms of different sizes, even in the longer size, if needed, certain places, might help create a more efficient kind of layout for you. So I'd be interested in that, be added to, our requests or, for information. And whether or not the owner would be willing to move 1 or 2 of the vents, might help really improve the yield. Because you might be able to go to a ridge vent or some other kind of vent that would, allow maybe even more than 10 kilowatt if you get more efficiency and pull it back at the same time. So I agree with some of the other commissioners that pulling back may not have to be all the way, but getting this kind of uniformity is as you go from the sort of bottom 2/3 is probably going to be the key to get sort of a sense of architectural alignment and satisfaction.
Or I think you kind of got a consistent message from everyone, so I won't pile on. Was this for approval or was this just conceptual?
We're recommending continuation of
Okay.
application.
So do I need a motion for,
Yes.
okay. Do you need any clarifications from us to go back and,
No, I don't.
okay. Do I have a motion to continue?
I'll move on IB 23-12-008 51 East 4th Avenue. Did I get that right? That's where we are.
Yes.
To continue to allow the applicant to explore solutions that align with tonight's comments.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Cisco, this will just move on to the next month's agenda, and I'll send all the pertinent information about what we discussed today and other information after. Thank you.
Okay. Application 4, IB 23-12-009-767 North 4th Street. Can you raise your right hand and state your name for the record?
Yes, Colin Carter.
You swear to tell the whole truth to the best of your ability?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Proposed work description for 767 North 4th Street. This application is in response to a code violation. Approval of currently installed exterior black front LED up-down sconce lighting, and approval to remove current security lighting located in a west elevation and install the previously approved appropriate security lighting. Previously approved was exterior wall pack, LED, cutoff optics, dark browns. Staff analysis, applications in response to code violation that was submitted in February 2023 after receiving complaints that a larger light fixture has been shining into neighboring residences and apartments. The light shining into the adjacent property will be removed, and applicant will be installing a previously approved downlit wall pack in order to address the light issue. The December business meeting, the commissioners made the following comments and recommendations. Most commissioners did not appear to have an issue with the currently installed light sconces. They're in agreement to remove the currently installed floodlight and install the previously approved. Asked additional information as to if the lighting is only downlighting or is uplighting as well. Applicant has informed staff that it is downlit and uplit. Additionally, we received an email today sent at 2:48 PM with the updated security wall pack light that had been installed prior to approval. They do not appear to match the previously approved. And I'm just gonna hand that out to the commissioners, since I was not able to include it, like materials. Included with that is the previously approved wall pack as well. Staff recommendation for this is to approve application IB 2312-009 as submitted with annual clarifications to be submitted to APO staff for review and approval prior to issuance of certificate of following condition. For the sconce lighting, only to be downlit or to install previously approved sconces, as well as to install a previously approved wall pack, as can be seen with the physical copies. Or recommend to continue application to allow applicant time to provide current materials for review. Basis for staff rec is Italian Village Guidelines, lighting, page 19. That is all.
Have anything?
No, so those three lights in question that were reported in that code violation have been swapped out for the approved downlit, wall packs. So,
So it's cut- Yeah. What is this?
so those are, the three lights that were replaced. So those are now the new lights. No, those are the new lights.
And then, but the approved was this. So this wasn't the approved.
So the up and down sconce, is that where you're referring to?
No, we're referring to the security light.
Can you see?
I can see that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Is that what was there?
Yeah, that's not what-
No, that wasn't.
It was previous to code violation. The lights that can be seen on the building in the materials packets were what's on previously, and the ones that you have copies of right now, according to the app, which you can see, of course, have been are the replacements.
But they're still not the approved. This is the approved.
Yes.
That is the approved.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the one that, if I'm understanding this is a replacement, yeah, this still shines out,
Yeah.
right?
It's more downlit, but
Well, I'm looking at a lens that faces outward.
okay.
Yeah, so we need what was approved, installed, so I think what we're talking about. And then what about, so there's two issues at hand. There's security light and then there's the sconces. So let's separate those and let's do security light. Does anyone have any other comment beyond?
Yeah, I'm
This.
confused.
Yeah, okay.
Morgan, I believe
All the-
there was some collateral on there that showed images of previously installed wall packs throughout Italian Village. I think it's further on, but
I'm not sure. We have the previous materials of what was
Okay.
previously approved, and then of the photos taken during the code violation, and the photos that were submitted for the updated application.
okay.
And it really doesn't matter what is throughout the village. What matters is in your specific location.
Yeah,
And your
understood.
specific location is facing residential units, which is why we had recommended that downlit security light. Like this was a long conversation when we approved this, a specific light. So it wasn't kind of willy-nilly.
Yeah.
picked. So,
Well, moreover, it's like, this is the fastest way to approve. I don't know if you're gonna get an approval for this other one, and then you're gonna come back with an application for, you know, something that complies with something you saw out in the field.
yeah,
This is the fastest way.
Is what was previously
Yeah.
approved, yeah.
yeah. So this very specific picture is what we would like to see because you're in a residential
Mhm.
facing area.
Okay.
Wall sconces, does anyone want to start with those? I believe the biggest difference is that they're only downlit. Maureen, can you?
We would recommend downlit. I believe Logan Fitch responded saying that they're up and downlit, if that's correct.
I would have to check with him, but
I believe that's what was submitted to me about them being both up and downlit.
Okay.
But we recommend don't, be specific.
Okay.
I'm on board with staff on that one.
So I understand you're saying that they need to be downlit? Just okay, and that's throughout the entire building or?
If it were me in the front of the building, I am okay up, down to highlight the brickwork, whatever. On the sides and the back, because you've got so close to residential areas, I think it needs to be down. Does anyone else have any? But that's only my, sorry, I should have waited to get mine.
No, I agree with that. Stance, yeah.
I agree.
So the front would be.
Well, I just think, I'm not as fond about these up-down sconces in general, because I feel like they're kind of artificial adornments, but I do think that up-down could be useful in some locations. It's just, I don't want to revisit all that. I just want to kind of let's just go back to what was approved. And unless, if the applicant wants to come back and suggest a request to leave some of them in place, then I'm open for that, but I just didn't study for that today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone have anything else?
No.
Okay. We need to continue this. Do I have a motion to continue?
Let me, so, I mean, do we have to continue if the applicant is just compliant to just putting stuff in? As,
Staff could approve if it's.
Yeah.
That is a good point, Commissioner Goodman. Yes, if the applicant is going to comply with the elements that our commission has discussed tonight for the wall pack and sconce, then we could move it to approval if all commissioners agreement, or, adorn.
well, it's almost like we don't even need an action for that. It's already
We
approved.
do. We would have to move it to staff approval.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And or the applicant could ask us to continue it if he wants to explore other types of light fixtures.
Which would you like?
Is that your preference, or is
I
it you
think
want to?
we'd like to move that to staff approval, and then if there's any back and forth regarding the up-down sconce in, let's say, on the north elevation of the building facing the parking lot, is that something that you could determine through staff approval?
To clarify, it would not be moved to staff approval, it would have to be approved, with the commission this evening. And then of course it'll go to staff to, submit the COA or the information that was given at the hearing. So if the commission is fine with the sconce, with the condition of being downlit and installing the previously approved, wall pack, then we could move, this to staff approval since that's what's being, that's what's being proposed at this time.
Does someone want to make that motion and just say what she said?
I think we're just saying that we are going to move this application to staff approval.
No.
No.
That's only at a business meeting that we can make that action. This is for either, approval conditions, continuation or denial. For the
So the motion is approving with the condition that the sconces be
Comply with the
earlier app and that the security lighting comply with the earlier CON. And then if you choose not to do that, you will end up having to come back because staff won't be able to approve it because the
Understood.
conditions aren't met.
I agree with you. I'm just going to say that's my motion.
Before we go into motioning, apologies just for my clarification. To my understanding, the commissioner is in the mind to basically reapprove the previously approved sconces and the wall pack.
Oh, wait, no, the existing sconces are okay,
Okay.
but they have to be only downlit.
Okay, thank you. That's, I was a little confused on that. I'm not.
Isn't that a different fixture then? Or did it change that now?
Yeah.
Or they take the light bulb off the top, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the internal of that.
I mean, these sconces from what we have seen, they can either be downlit, uplit, or both. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure how that it's changed manufacturing,
Alright,
but
I guess I'm going to try to, so I'm going to move on application 23-12-009 to 767 North 4th Street. To basically confirm the COA, the approved COA for the security wall pack. And that the applicant must modify the current sconces to be downlit only or change them to a similar product type that accomplishes that outcome. In which case, you need to submit a cut sheet to staff to show that performance.
Okay.
All right? And this does not, this is a little rhetorical part here, that this does not change in any way that there should be up-down light. We're okay with up-down light out front.
Okay.
It should be just revert to what was approved in the previous COA. If you want to do something else, then you just have to submit another application.
Okay, understood.
For that. All right, so I don't know, I've obviously drifted off into conjecture and lecture, but
I think that's a good motion.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, crystal clear. Got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Basic commissioners.
Okay, last but not least, 05 IV 2312 010 111 East Second Avenue.
now.
Okay, can you both raise your right hands and state your names for the record?
John Leonard.
Avery Young.
You swear to tell the whole truth to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Okay.
I will want to swear.
Oh, you too. Sorry.
Sorry.
Swear to tell the,
Yes.
okay.
Sorry, I just, sorry. Has it been sworn in? Everyone's been sworn in? Just making sure. I think I missed that.
Everyone's in sworn.
All right.
You want everyone say your name again?
Okay, Andrew Wilsey.
Avery Young.
John Leonard.
Thank you. All right. Application ID 2312-010, 111 East Second Street. Proposed work description is to install a 206-foot, 4-foot tall sterling aluminum fence for dog park per submitted site plan. Fence to have 3 4-foot gates installed. Plan additional plantings along north fence side facing Second Avenue. I believe that's been updated, correct?
Yeah.
So apologies. Applicant initially reached out to Building and Zoning early October about their fencing application. Zoning staff referred applicant that they would not need a permit, but they would need a certificate from IBC. Staff originally received an application for vinyl coated chain link fence. We informed them that we would recommend a more appropriate fence that is more in line with the guidelines of the city code, metal fence or wood fence. They've revised the materials to install an aluminum fence. We had informed them that we would not be able to support or be able to approve an aluminum fence and would need to go to commission for review. At the December business meeting, the commissioners made the following statements and recommendations. Commissioners stated that one issue that they have had with the aluminum fencing fencing adjacent to the row, that the material tends to have problems over time. Typically, they do not approve aluminum in residential settings. There have been situations before where the commission has approved aluminum fencing behind the tree lawn at the Jeffrey Park complex. Commissioners have concern about having a fence in front of the existing stairs area, that it may take away an area for people to sit along the step area. They're recommended moving the fence back to include the stairs within the dog park space to allow for sitting and for people to engage within the park. They recommended to install the fence or for it to be preferable to perform a core and plate in order to provide additional reinforcement for the aluminum fence. Requested revised site plan to be submitted to HPO staff prior to the hearing. And Commissioner Trot recommended to maybe plant ivy in front of the fencing to soften the area. Staff recommends to approve application IV 2312-010 as submitted with any clarifications to be submitted to HPO staff for review and approval prior to issuance of a certificate with the following condition: to install additional plantings to the perimeter to soften fencing, and that's to be the perimeter facing second. Revised site plan to be submitted to HPO staff for final review and approval. Basis of staff rec is Italian Village Guidelines, fence, page 16, and 31-16-13, standards for site improvements. Letter B.
You all have anything? Starter?
Well, we did take the original recommendations of the commission and, have those steps now outside. John did enough work, so we're clear of all the ADA requirements on keep maintaining that sidewalk width. I think that you guys have some thoughts on some potential foliage or planting to soften that front along the street. So the biggest thing is just essentially the material type in aluminum versus wrought iron. Today's wrought iron and the material we'll be using, is powder coated. So from a longevity standpoint, it's going to have the same lifespan as a wrought iron. However, will be easier to maintain than a wrought iron, especially if we are proceeding with a core drilling and anchoring in that concrete. Wrought iron has tendency, just corrosive nature of that, to be a little bit more difficult to repair or maintain.
Okay. You want to get started? And this is your.
I just had a question. So when we're looking at the dash with the X in it, that's the location of the fence.
Correct.
And I agree with almost everything you've done, but I have a couple of questions about, and I apologize, I could not open this case. And for some reason, usually you click on them and all of your drawings and things come up, and this one, all I got was some picture from regular. But so what you're indicating is there are 4 risers, 1, 2, 3, yep, I'm seeing if it's in both cases because I can't quite read that from here. So you actually have the fence in the top tread, right, of the top stair.
It's equal to the sidewalk.
It's
It's equal to the sidewalk elevation. So, yeah, the top.
Oh, so you're saying it is at the uppermost elevation, it's not on the tread. It's just, I'm seeing a line here, so let me show you what I'm talking about. Like, oops, where'd it go? So in here, if there are 4 risers, 1, 2, 3, and that looks like the 4th riser to me.
It's just this abutment of the sidewalk. I put the lighter, it probably doesn't show it very well, but if you print out, there's a lighter hatch line. All it's saying is there's a sidewalk and then there's 14 inches of concrete after that. It's equal to the.
2
Yeah.
risers, 3 risers, 4.
That's not the 4th. That's just the end of the sidewalk.
Three, I think it's just a joint line.
Yeah, if you see right there. See that line where that's all doing this end of the
1,
sidewalk.
2, 3, all right.
Yeah.
And this, there's like the bottom is actually where there's a partial riser
Right.
that's showing up.
And it fades with grade there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to check to make sure that this was
Right.
outside.
Yeah. And we would core probably dead center of that step, just for practical reasons of not breaking the step.
Yeah.
We went too far one way or the other.
Thank you for making those changes.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a lot nicer for.
No, that's,
if there's-
like I said, those were, again, that was original, was the client that changed it, so.
And then I can just comment on the plantings. I was just kind of thinking that there's going to be a lot of this fence sticking up. And, in an area that maybe you wouldn't suspect that or wouldn't fit in as well. I think this helps a lot, and I'm not really sure that you need planting on the edges. And I think that, I don't know if we make something conditional on, us or you guys feeling like we need it. But the idea was just to say that you would, it's some kind of vines, and it looks like the places where you might do that is over by this gate or something like that. The other ones have concrete, so you can't plant
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But, if it was trumpet vine or ivy or something, and of course we have to make sure those aren't toxic to dogs. But I feel like I could let go of that at this point.
Okay.
I think this is gonna be a lot nicer.
I know they would appreciate that,
Yeah, I mean.
just for a maintenance standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, they might, yes, somebody's gonna have to take care of that,
Well,
make sure that it's.
Our company would, but
Okay.
we
well, then
won't.
I'm
We don't
moving
care.
forward,
we
so-
get paid either way, so
Yeah. So maybe that's.
they don't want to pay.
Do require, it's because, but I just thought it might be really nice, you know,
Oh, well,
I'm
yeah.
not quite sure. Cause this is, what's the height of the fence?
It's 4 foot for just the dog purposes.
Oh, really? Cause that is kind of tall.
Yeah, I know we talked about before. Usually I think your standard was 30, 36, but knowing that and seeing the dogs that are in there now, especially having the steps, so they almost have like a ramp to get up there, they would easily jump over that 30, 36. They have some huge dogs there. So,
Just got a puppy yesterday and weighs 5 pounds. So
yeah.
I'm sure we'll get much bigger. But I don't know, is there a way that we could say that this would be a requirement that they would need to add some vegetation if it felt like it needed to be softened, or do we have to be definitive?
Yeah, you need to be definitive. They can, you could say, if they want to, they can add vegetation, but you can't be like, if I feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they feel like they can plant whatever they
Well,
want.
it's not enforcing.
Yeah.
I mean, can I make a recommendation? Are you talking about the whole perimeter or are you talking about just one edge?
Just in some places.
Well, okay,
where
I
we
mean,
can.
why, can you talk just about the possibility on the right edge that you just pull it in 3 feet and allow a planting bed along the,
On this edge,
So one thing everyone keep in mind that dog pee is corrosive.
except red twig dogwoods and dogwoods are,
I mean,
Like, it's not gonna live.
no, they
I
are
mean,
red
things that are
twig,
gonna-
twig
I've got a
dogwoods
dog.
are beautiful.
front yard, 3 foot fence. I mean, all these things that we're kind of wringing our hands about are, it's not as devastating as we
No,
think, so.
it's wrong. But it is a choice.
All right, do you have any other comments other than people would like to see some plantings?
I think that right-hand edge, which I can't tell if it's, so that's the east edge, should just be pulled 3 foot and allow it to be owned by the sidewalk instead of by the dog park area. And that way you get a nice sort of corridor, next to the dog park. If it needs to have a buffer and beyond that because a dog urine on that fence line, then make it more. But I mean, it could be the whole width of that notch that we're seeing on the north or the southeast corner. But in any case, I just like to be specific about where we're talking about that planting area, if we're gonna talk about it at all.
I think that makes sense.
So I'm just to make sure it's clear, see if we have any consensus about this, that this fence line be pulled back so that you can allow some of this area to be green space that belongs to the sidewalk area and not dead from some trampling inside the gate. So that would be one of the things I would recommend. I don't know if there's any head nodding down there, but that's as far as the rest of the stuff, I am more or less fine with the perimeter, especially with the modifications you talked about, as long as it's not sitting on a step. It's at the same elevation, and I am not in favor of a 4-foot fence or an aluminum fence. So to get my support, it'd have to be iron, powder coated, 3-foot fence. It'll be fine because I have a very jumpy dog with a 3-foot fence. We're not talking about putting killer dogs behind this or, dogs on the run. If they are problem dogs, I mean, this is going to solve, 90% of the problem is just having any sort of fence. They're focused on their owners and playing and that kind of stuff, not jumping out of the fence. So this is a highly exposed area to Second Avenue. It's very residential looking. It should comply with all the sort of features that we sort of lean into from this commission standpoint of this commission. For a normal, historically lined, architecturally lined fence, residential fence.
I agree with everything Commissioner Goodman just stated. I really think the idea of pulling the right side of that fence in a little bit to give some breathing room to the sidewalk is a really good idea. Give that sidewalk a little breathing room and prevent any, overspray from people walking along the sidewalk. And I agree that the fence should be wrought iron and probably about 3 feet. I'd be comfortable with 3 feet, if not 30.
Question for you guys. Do you know if this is gonna be like open year round? Or if
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna
would assume so.
just open year round?
Another reason why they want to install this fence is really to keep it within the community, because a lot of people are, I don't know what you like, but a lot of people are using this park that really shouldn't be. The way they're looking at it is it's their park. If it was just a park and not the dog park, they wouldn't care, but since they're using it to the dog park, they don't want to. Lawsuits, someone brings their dog in, bites somebody, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's why the gate, everything's kind of hidden in the back.
So this will be available only to residents.
That's what I think they want.
That changes this a lot.
I mean, I understand. I mean, I'm thinking they can help that because there's nothing. There's only one gate that's locked and that's just our maintenance gate, so.
I think we're gonna need, I'll go next.
I mean, if you're telling me that, I'll just have to tell them and then it is what it is, because they need.
I think a large public space that we worked on to be a public space and make it private.
Okay,
The whole point
No,
is
that's fine.
to give it to the broader community.
I mean, they're gonna, trust me, that's their thought. I just know they can't stop people from using it, so. They're not gonna have a sign out there saying, and it's like I said, that all the gates don't have locks on them. So.
I do think this will get more use, which is exciting than I feel like I've ever really seen it being used, so. I would agree with moving that right fence a bit, just to not only offer some vegetation there, but also it's helpful, I think, when you're walking your dogs up and the dogs aren't running up against the sidewalk there. And then as far as, the height, I'm okay with the 4-foot height, but I do agree as far as the materials with the guidelines, that's just, what's found appropriate, in the neighborhood. So, meaning that, not improving the aluminum material.
Would be a compromise if we do go with the shorter and more expensive iron fence. That, like they were saying before, that if it gets cored into the concrete, there's likely chance over time that they're gonna have to replace the whole thing again. That surface mounting would be fine to save some cost, and since it's gonna be iron fence, it'll
Yeah.
be more heavy duty.
Every time surface mounting.
Just for us, we elaborate a little bit on the, determination of wrought iron versus aluminum. Is it aesthetics? Is it structural?
It's historic significance.
Okay, so the property previously approved for aluminum.
So yeah, so one thing, at the business meeting, we discussed allowing aluminum because this was a new build. All the homes that are in this development, this was master developed community, and we approved, there's aluminum fences throughout. So it's kind of being treated like new construction. We also had them make the fence larger by incorporating the steps. So that was kind of at the business meeting, our discussion on why we were okay with them in this instance. Not saying the other commissioners should change their mind on that, but that was the discussion we had at the business meeting.
I'll add my rationale on this, that almost always aluminum fence, spindles and posts tend to be hollow core. Well, the spindles specifically tend to be hollow. and they tend to be fragile, and there's so many variations of aluminum where the top isn't finished, or they end up being kind of cast pieces and that kind of stuff. So with the iron fence, you have one solid piece of rod stock. It's being finished off, rounded over. I don't think you're asking for any sort of cast elements on top, so really easy to execute, and it's just more durable. You know, aluminum tubes just end up getting bent more, and I've also have some skepticism about how well the powder coat bonds to aluminum versus steel. But that's a little bit of conjecture. I'm getting off on a limb there. The point is that iron does tend to hold up better. We've seen it that way. So I apologize that there are so many variations where we're seeing aluminum, because some of those things have not been approved. Some of those things there's been discussion or debate about, and suffice to say that I stand pat on iron. And by the way, I'm fine with the surface mounting also. I think because it's a whole square, I think things going to be a lot rigid.
Okay, sounds like we need to continue. Unless you would like a motion for what folks are saying, which is, sounds like moving the west side of the fence back 3 feet, east side. That's the west side. East, okay. East side, back. Where's this? What's wrong?
3 feet.
3 feet, and then, a 3-foot fence, iron would probably be the motion that would pass tonight. So we could do that, or, you guys could come back,
Or we could vote for the application as is.
or we could vote for the application as is, but.
I could also make a recommendation. We could also go around again just to see how everyone is feeling, their temperature on the application, to help you decide if you would like to continue with approval, or if you would like to continue a continued application to allow more time to look into the different variables discussed this evening. If that makes sense.
I mean, I don't speak for the client, so I just know. And for them, I mean, it's gonna be a cost increase, so I understand all the changes and make everything make sense, but with the fence, I have no issues with that. The only thing is really just the change of material on their end, so I have to propose something to them, so I mean, I want to go your direction. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, it's gonna cost this now, so.
So we could, conditionally approve the application with that, and if your client is not okay with that, then the application just comes back to us, right? Because the conditions aren't met.
Yes, I believe so. I think the safer bet would be to continue, but I believe we could do an approval with conditions. If the conditions are met, come back to the commission.
And if your client is okay, if we continue it, if your client's okay with it, it comes back with everything you just said, it could be approved at a staff meeting.
Right.
Or at
You
the
know,
business.
obviously revised and re-leveled.
Yes, yeah, with revised drawings.
I know you're fine with it. I know you talked about a bed. I know originally we were talking about grasses. Are you fine with that? Because I know we were talking about the same thing, dog urine. You know, it's up against a walk, simple feathery grass will be kind of narrow, doesn't overtake.
Yeah, no restrictions.
Easy maintenance for them,
Yeah.
kind of checks on our end, checks all the boxes, but if you're fine with that.
Yeah, I think it's more just a separation from the sidewalk and then whatever.
Right, I got you.
Requirements as far as what.
And I would like to see some kind of elevation of the fence, what kind of detail. I mean, for that.
Well, yeah, there's original.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna look
Yeah, I didn't get the drawings.
similar to whatever that is.
That, I think it is very plain.
That's for our standards, so there's possibly.
Yeah, your standards kind of come from that.
Here.
Yeah,
Or Sherman Village.
Yeah, sorry. Kind of is
Well,
what it is.
there are variations. I mean, they could be exposed spin over the top also. but-
Yeah, I think there's, so you guys, there's an
Yeah.
atom sticks that
Yeah.
passed, so.
Okay, so do I have a motion to continue?
That's what we're.
I think that's what the, yeah.
Yeah,
I move on 23-12, -010 111 East Second Avenue, that we continue to allow the applicant more time to adjust to tonight's comments and come back next month.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so it looks like our public forum never showed up, so we'll do that next time.
I believe so, I'll double check and I'll let you follow, of course. I believe that will be what the act, but kind of same thing, so I'll collect those papers from you guys. Give it to all of you. And
I was so ready
And
to
then,
talk
real
about my
quick,
fealty.
no, to,
Do we have to read this? Is there something that I need? Paper.
oh yeah, you
Usually,
didn't, you can
Well,
start
we
it
do
the
that.
next time.
yeah, and I'll collect those at the end. But we were supposed to have our city attorney come in and administer the pledge and oath for ethical conduct. Attorney couldn't make it tonight, so I will send out information for January.
So they need that on top of the signed document?
Yeah, so you'll be doing the oath and it basically will be signing, saying that you did the oath at the time, and he'll notarize the documents and it will go, and he'll give a racing kind of like.
But next time, can't start filling it out. Yeah, the notaries here.
Yeah.
So just in post business, the next business meeting is Tuesday, December 26th at 12 p.m. Is there an alternate time staff would like to suggest?
There is not an alternate time. If we have two or less, we'll recommend to just cancel the business meeting.
Okay.
And if there's more, of course, that can come, then we'll, it'll be scheduled for that day. But just if everyone could let me know, Jason has already, Commissioner Studi has already let me know that he will be able to attend. But if you all are not able to, if you could let me know
I'll be out of
now.
town.
Okay. All right, so Commissioner Fergus, you'll be out of town. All right, who else will be out of town that day?
I think I might be able to make it, but it highly hinges on whether there'll be cookies or not.
I did bring chocolates.
He's running it up.
See what I can do to be.
Commissioner Goodman, I think that there might be influence peddling.
Yes, was that ethical?
Won't be influenced, it'll just be a nice gift for the picture. So, but yeah, if you could let me all know as soon as you can, that'll be my schedule as well too. So, this week or next week would be great. Then we can send out a cancellation and be.
Saying you don't want to come in the day after?
So Jason said he could be here,
Jason did say he would be in town that day.
and
I will not be.
so it would just be three of us then.
Yes. Commissioner
Maybe.
Fred would be. Yes. If it's two or less, we'll cancel. If it's three, then we will have the meeting.
So what is the, what's our workaround? If it's canceled, then we just go into to the meeting hot, the hearing hot?
No, I believe that we can still send the meeting materials. We'll be able to send them prior, a couple weeks prior, for you all to review. I will say right now, we do not have much for January, mostly just continued applications, so it's a pretty lit agenda. For what we have now. Of course, tomorrow's the deadline, but we'll be able to send the agenda out with meeting materials like a couple weeks in advance. And I believe can't remember the protocol for a canceled business meeting, but I can double check on that to you all know.
Can I hit on a couple other items? First of all, the solar thing, did you have the address for the other one?
Yes, I do. It's 1099 and I can include that in the next material.
99 what? Fourth Avenue, what?
Oh, sorry. It's Summit Street.
Oh, right, it's done.
And I think that's good for everybody to take a look at. And then I've been seeing intermittent new topic, intermittent movement on the abandoned house next to me. I don't know if there's any movement going on in other abandoned houses further north, even further north, I guess.
The one on Punta is like all of a sudden,
Occupied.
yeah, like that one that was being built for like 10 years.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really weird.
But the one on Summit, do you? have one?
The one next to 10,
Branch.
it was recently painted.
Yes.
Oh, the one across the street from me. Yes. The next to the Virginia.
The single family home that's been abandoned for some time. I haven't.
Yeah, and it's like right next to,
It was brand has been painted.
Anyway, I just wondered if you have any updates on what code violation is saying in terms of their timeline, if they're getting responses. I mean, to me, it looks like on the houses next to me, they just continue to dismantle.
Yeah,
It's not like they're doing anything to
I know the code officer's been out there to talk to, or has been out there and has talked to the for, the 835 Summit Street property. I know 835 Summit Street is in court as well as the other Summit Street properties. So
they're still in court.
yes, they're going still through that process. So they are going to court or have been in court recently from the update that I've received. The code officer with those.
Well, I think it'd be useful at the business meeting to know what kinds of progress that the owners made, if they've made any, so we can feel like we're helping preserve a house.
do we have any?
Yeah, I can check in. Code officer keeps us pretty updated, a good code officer, Italian, so, get some additional information.
Came new during COVID. Right? I mean, don't you feel like code violations, like we had used to have none?
Yeah.
And then like you clearly started doing it.
It's a new time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Do we have anything else before adjourning?
I don't believe so. I mean, I have confirmed that, Commissioner Smith, Plansky, and Fergus will be out of town 26th. Commissioner Sudis confirmed, Commissioner Goodman, you'll let me know, correct, and then Commissioner Trevolo.
Okay.
Send a reminder email though.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thanks. Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.